The following podcast contains alcohol-enhanced conversations about alcohol, as well as a potential for discussions about topics of dubious, disturbing, possibly offensive, but usually hilarious interest. The opinions stated herein are solely of the persons making them, and any endorsement of these opinions by any other party is not implied. Foul language is likely, but intolerant viewpoints are not. Listener intoxication is advised. Hello and welcome to episode 70 of the Neat Glass-sponsored Whiskey Tangent podcast. I'm Scott.
I'm Ed.
And today we're doing the second in an occasional series of episodes in which we deconstruct whiskey cocktails. The first was in season 5 on episode 45 when we tasted 3 different whiskey cocktails made 3 different ways by changing only one ingredient in order to answer the burning question, does your vermouth vermatter? And well, we did find that, yes, in fact, your vermouth does vermatter. This time we'll be doing basically the same thing, but changing a different ingredient to answer the equally burning question, whose bitters be better?
I was wondering how you were going to flip that. I had no idea what you were going to say.
An explosive showdown between the top 2 most widely used bitters brands.
Oh, you fucking genius.
Angostura and Peychaud. And joining us on this deep dive into the bitter end of the cocktail pool are the decidedly not bitter whiskey power couple, Rachel.
Hello.
And Marty.
Hey, how's it going?
But before we get to all the festive fun, sometimes sour Ed is here to tell us which bracing, bitter embellished beverages we'll be sharing and comparing tonight.
So we're going to pregame first by kind of delving into the bitters. Scott's going to do the history of the Angostura bitters, and then we're going to taste it. Then we'll do the history of Peychaud's bitters, and then we'll taste that. And I'm a little embarrassed to say I've never tasted bitters by themselves. When I think of all the times I've included them in cocktails, it's kind of silly that I've never just dropped a couple on my tongue to see what they taste like.
Yeah, just put it in your mouth.
Yeah, put it in your mouth and talk about it. That's the whole premise of the podcast. It's what we actually have on our business cards.
That's right.
So we have 3 cocktails coming up, and then a 4th. The first cocktail is going to be the Trinidad Sour with rye, orgeat syrup, lemon juice, and each of the 2 bitters. Round 2 cocktail sounds amazing. The La Louisiane, the rye sweet vermouth, Benedictine, absinthe, and then once again, each of the 2 bitters. Round 3 cocktail, improved whiskey cocktail, bourbon, simple syrup, maraschino liqueur, ginger liqueur, and bitters. Once again, both bitters. And the final round cocktail will be a Sazerac, which is rye, sugar, or simple syrup, depending on what you want to do. We're going to do sugar, absinthe, bitters, but we'll be tasting this one blind to see if we can tell which bitters is in which cocktail.
Be better.
Exactly. All right, so 4 cocktails coming up. First, we're going to do the bitters. Scott, back to you.
All right. So we're going to do the Angostura history, and then we'll taste it. It's 6 paragraphs. It's not too long, but it's, I thought, very interesting. This is from an article titled The Secret History of Angostura Bitters by Raman Ganeshram.
It's crazy how old they are.
Correct. Posted at bbc.com. Take a stroll down your local liquor store aisles, and you'll find beer, wine, and spirits of all types, plus countless mixers for everything from daiquiris to Bloody Marys to margaritas. But no matter where you are in the world, one little bottle quietly takes its place of importance among them all. Angostura Aromatic bitters. Produced since the 19th century, Angostura is as important to the bartender as salt is to the chef. Without it, there would be no Manhattan, no Old Fashioned, no Whiskey Sour, nor any of 1,000 other cocktails developed since. However, bitters, as we simply call it now, is not just something to drink, it's also a source of national pride in the tiny Caribbean twin island nation of Trinidad and Tobago, where it's made and where it's included in the recipes for everything from baked goods to traditional dishes to hot cuisine. Even in Trinidad's alcohol-abstaining religious communities, there's usually a bottle of bitters in the cupboard for medicinal use, which was actually the original purpose for the concoction created by Johann Gottlieb Benjamin Siegert, a German army surgeon and officer who served under the Venezuelan military and political leader Simón Bolívar. who fought against Spanish rule in the Americas. In 1824, while he was stationed in the Venezuelan town of Angostura, Siegert created his bitters specifically as a stomach tonic for ailing soldiers. By the mid-1800s, his bottles of bitters made their way around the world in little wooden casks that ship's captains bought directly from Siegert as medicine for the crew. After Siegert's death, political upheaval in Venezuela pushed his sons to relocate to Trinidad, just 8 miles off the Venezuelan coast, where they set up a company they called the House of Angostura. Other companies attempted to make copies of the product, but it was Angostura's aggressive enforcement of their patent that shot-putted them to fame, because news of their lawsuits began to be widely reported in financial newspapers at a time when alcohol-soaked gentlemen's clubs were very popular. Thus, the brand was brought into the upper echelons of society, where it became a premier ingredient for the emergent sophisticated cocktail culture, with an endless array of drinks being developed around its flavors. But what are those flavors?
Yes.
Well, nearly 200 years after its development, the recipe for Angostura bitters remains one of the world's longest-held culinary mysteries.
I know it.
Do you?
Right, mine is love, marriage, divorce, bitter.
Only a few facts are known for sure. 1, Siegert's original suspension of herbs, barks, and spices has remained unchanged. Number 2, the alcohol base is close to 100 proof.
Ooh.
And 3, although many people have guessed dozens of different components over the centuries, including clove, cinnamon, allspice, black licorice, divorce, and star anise, the only herbal ingredient listed on the label is gentian, a bitter root that has long been used in herbal tonics. But whatever the real recipe is, it hardly matters, because its incredible success has never been in doubt. Today, the company produces 3 other bitters products, orange, cocoa, and amaro, and although they are tight-lipped about their sales figures, the fact that nearly every bar and restaurant, not to mention every home bar, practically in the world, has a bottle, the number must be staggeringly large. As Giuseppe Gonzalez, the creator of the Trinidad Sour, recently said, Ango has won the game, and they do little or no marketing for what is essentially an unreproducible product. Someone could make something better, but no one would drink it. They're unbeatable. Everything else is a copy.
Wow, that's great, Scott.
Mic
Thank
drop.
you so much.
So
because
true.
what gets me is we had an episode where we talked about them back in the day, and I compared them to Staples. I can never understand how staple companies make money, because it's like 5,000 Staples in a box for like $1.
Yeah.
It's like, when am I going to run out of Staples? And the same thing with bitters. It's like I keep a bottle. It usually lasts in my fridge like a year. I spend the $8 on it, but it's a great point when you think of every bar has got them. Every house has got them.
Yeah.
And it's time for me to throw out the third of a bottle I have left of the Angostura orange bitters I have in my fridge right now and get a new one.
Yeah.
So I don't even use it all, but I know it's getting kind of stale, so I move on.
Yeah, these are fresh bought last
Oh,
night.
yeah. We bought it on Thursday.
Thursday night, 2 nights ago.
Yep.
And let's smell and taste the Angostura.
Well, it's definitely a darker color than the Peychaud's, which I can see in my glasses, much more red.
You put an R in the Peychaud's.
Oh, my gosh.
Holy cow.
Never had this many bitters at one place.
Kind of smells like a gin to me.
I see what you mean. Like the
Because
juniper.
it's so floral. Right, there must be juniper in this, don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, I love the smell of it. It's terrific.
Licorice. I'm smelling.
Absolutely, anise.
Absolutely, yeah. Like raw licorice
Cinnamon.
fruit. No, very little.
Cinnamon, yeah.
Cinnamon, yeah.
There's no sweetness on the smell at all. I mean, I don't get anything sweet. I've never smelled anything quite like this.
Right, so I put 2 dashes of each of these in our neat glasses.
I've never had more clove present in anything I've done. Oh my God. It's like a chewing on a clove stick just to smell it.
Oh, you know what, though? It doesn't taste as bitter as
you
I
tasted
thought it was going to taste.
Cheater. Oh, it's pretty
You're
bitter.
pulling an Ed.
Oh, I mean, to me, it doesn't taste as bitter. Maybe I didn't take a big enough sip. Did you do a whole shot of it, Marty?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean,
it's pretty poof.
Oh, sure, it's bitter. Definitely bitter.
Man, clove all over it. I literally, I mean, it's even worse now than when I smelled it. It literally tastes like I'm chewing a clove stick.
And the tingliness that you get from clove.
Does clove come in a stick? I don't even know. I've never seen.
No, they're like little
I've never seen clove in its natural
What are
form.
they? What would they be called? Those little things, the rounded things
pods
with a
or
spike.
seeds or
They're like little spiky
tips of flowers.
So, they used to use clove oil, like if you were going to pierce your ears or whatever, it would numb and I'm getting a little bit of that tingling numbness on
definitely.
my tongue, right?
Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
Yeah. But a little umami, like a little, not quite soy sauce, but something.
Oh my God.
Yep.
It's very distinctive. The holy cow. Like, I take it back. There is a slight feint of sweetness, but I'm only on the finish.
I'm chewing on a Christmas tree, though.
Yeah.
There's some pine there too. Yeah, nice. Yeah. This is really good. I think, I don't know if Marty really liked this, but I think Rachel did. because I like it too. And Rachel and I have this bitter love.
So
Yeah.
Marty doesn't like bitters in his Manhattan.
No, and
So,
let me
yeah.
tell you, we were in Florida last week visiting friends, and I was making Manhattans for everybody, and I overdid the two dashes.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I didn't like my Manhattan because it
Yeah.
was too much bitters.
Too much bitters.
I don't mind with 2 dashes, but I probably put in 3 or 4 by accident.
Oh, I see.
And now this is all I'm tasting. This is exactly what I was tasting in
Yeah.
that Manhattan. I was like, why is this? Oh yeah, I put too much bitters in it.
This is going to be so fascinating. So, because
Yes.
some of these are going to have a lot of bitters in it, and we're going to see if it's too much and what the differences are between the two. All right, so then we'll just move on to Peychauds. The history of Peychauds is a little shorter. We actually did the whole history of Peychauds on episode 30 back in season 3 with Anders and Gabe. It's heavily entwined in the origins of the Sazerac cocktail, so please go back and listen to that for the full story. But as a synopsis, I found this short and sweet version of Peychaud's history on a blog at allthebitter.com. Behind nearly every bar in the world, you'll find the same 2 bitters, Angostura and Peychaud's. While Angostura is most often called for in classic cocktails, Peychaud's bitters holds an important place in the Sazerac cocktail and many other classic and modern drinks. Like Angostura, it has a fascinating history and is inextricably linked to American cocktail culture. Peychaud's bitters owes its iconic status to the visionary craftsmanship of Antoine Amédée Peychaud. Born circa 1803, Peychaud found his way to New Orleans during a tumultuous period marked by slave riots in Haiti. Fleeing the violence and economic collapse of the island nation, Peychaud brought with him his medicinal tonic, a proprietary blend of botanicals including gentian and anise that would soon become known as Peychaud's bitters. In 1832, Peychaud opened his own apothecary on Royal Street, where he dispensed his patented herbal remedy and introduced locals to the vibrant flavors of his bitters. Legend has it that Peychaud and his friends were the first to experiment with adding his bitters to the popular Sazerac de Forges et Fils cognac, eventually leading to the creation of what is sometimes incorrectly cited as the first American cocktail, the Sazerac, not the vampires. Although the vampires at Sazerac, the company, are now producing Peychauds at the Buffalo Trace Distillery in Frankfort, Kentucky, and the Sazerac House, which sits just outside the French Quarter in New Orleans. So this is a very New Orleans-based product.
You know, let me ask you, because bring this up. I bartended for about 10 years.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was probably
In
in
your face,
the,
Gabe.
I'm trying to think when it was, late 80s, 90s. I've never, ever have seen this Peychaud's in any bar I ever worked at. Now, I never
Really?
worked at high-end, classy joints making all these nice drinks. It was pretty much, you know, slinging beers and a lot of, well,
Yeah.
mixers.
Sports
but
bars, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sports bars. I did work at a couple nicer places, but, like, I've never even heard of this before.
Really?
So, yeah, it's very old. I was surprised. I
Yeah.
thought maybe it just came into...
They're they
Orleans,
started
yeah.
very close together, the 1820s for both of them. Peychaud's is definitely number 2. It is the Burger King to the Angostura and McDonald's for sure. And that's why I wanted to compare these, because it is the top 2, but Angostura is by far the most used. So the fact that you didn't know about it doesn't really surprise me. A lot of this stuff went out of favor, the Peychaud stuff in the New Orleans drinks, and then it came back in the cocktail revolution of like the early 2000s. So it was probably after you were done bartending.
Yeah, it could be. Yep.
So the thing that strikes me,
Licorice.
the thing that strikes me the most visually is it's so red.
Yeah.
The other one's sort of a dark brown.
And that throws me off with the licorice smell to it.
Oh my God, that's all you smell is licorice.
That is all.
And it does say right in your description that anise was a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I honestly feel like I'm smelling a dram of anisette.
It's a lot sweeter smelling
Or like
too.
a root beer syrup. Or
Oh,
like
root
Dr.
beer.
Very
Pepper
good. Yes.
syrup,
Yeah.
Sasparilly.
Yeah, it's sarsaparilla. I smell cherries. I smell sweet
Yep.
beneath the anise. Anise is the first thing you smell.
But like a heavy cough syrup, like the root beer syrup,
And-
cherry.
And like
all
you
that.
said, the root beer.
A raw, unsweet root beer. Like,
Yeah.
definitely. Let's taste it.
Yeah, I'm a big black licorice fan. This is great smell, but I just tasted it and it's good. But
No
the
sweetness to it.
Angostura has so much more going on than.
Oh, yeah.
than
This is
does.
completely, I can't believe how different they are. Wow.
They're very
I thought they
different.
were pretty close. Like,
I did too.
Okay, I'll go back to the vermouth. It's like having a Cocchi next to the.
The Dolin.
You said it.
Yeah,
didn't you?
yep.
Exactly. It's very thin.
It's very
Nothing-
thin.
There's nothing lingering
I'm
afterwards.
surprised.
Like, I'm still tasting the cinnamon and clove from
Yeah.
Angostura.
Yeah.
And this
This-
stuff is.
I had
yeah.
15 cheese puffs to clear my palate. So
I know. I'm wondering if we should have tasted the Peychaud's first.
Yes,
Oh,
so
maybe.
much
But I
better.
didn't know that it was going to taste
Yeah.
as weak in comparison. But
Yeah.
that's, a clue to what it does to a drink.
It's not as savory, right? And it's
Yeah.
They may as well just dip like a black licorice stick in there. I mean,
and a little bit fruity, like a little bit of
A
like
little bit,
pebbles.
yeah.
like
It's definitely
fruity pebbles.
fruitier and more anise and less spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was I was talking about, I added too much bitters.
Yeah.
Angostura. It changed the cocktail, maybe 2 more dashes. This, I think I would have to add like 10 more dashes to get something, where it really would affect the drink.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it is a little thin on the back end.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if people do use more of this in cocktails. I guess it depends. And we'll find out because we're going to make 4 cocktails with both of these.
You know what? If Anders was here,
Yeah.
he could kind of give us the bartender's perspective.
would have been
Absolutely. And we
unfortunate.
and I definitely did
And
want
we are
him on
missing
here.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
All right,
this.
let's call Anders and see if he answers.
Oh, you want to call him? All right, let's
Oh,
call him.
yeah.
But this would be a perfect time to ask his opinion on both of those before we get into everything else. Okay.
And, we watch him work, and he uses bitters all the time.
And
He does.
A lot of
it
drinks.
seems to make
Yeah.
sense which ones he does different.
The number you have reached is not in service.
What?
Please check your directory.
He's never
and
busy at
dial again.
9:41.
Hello, listeners.
So, Anders, we're recording. We just tasted both the Angostura and the Peychauds, and we're shocked by how different they are. Give us a quick take on what you think about each of them.
So I think Angostura, it's from Trinidad and Tobago, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So you've got like natural, those like Caribbean tiki flavors. So like cinnamon, allspice, clove, coriander.
Right.
It's such a earthy, bold flavor palette, and it's perfect for whiskey. You're adding like an element of like a sipping rum to like anything. Honestly, I love it with a glass of ginger ale.
Yeah.
Yes.
Peychaud, it's from New Orleans, and you still have a lot of the French influence. It's got like some like brighter, more mellow flavors. You get like light cherry notes that you might get in like cognac or Armagnac, where it's like mellow. It's not as bold.
Right.
Yeah, it's
I think
much more
Angostura,
subtle.
You get
Yeah.
the anise and the root beer type of flavors,
Yes.
right? That's a very prevalent.
Yeah. Anise is a little bit more strong than the other spices that you get at Angostura.
Which one do you use the most? We figured Angostura, but we wanted to check.
Angostura.
Yeah.
Yep, yellow top or die.
What drink? What drink would you use the Peychauds for?
Sazerac #1 with a bullet, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's some fun things you can do with it as well.
Yeah. I find that a drop on each nipple makes the night fun.
I mean, you can do that with either one. And you're
Does
gonna have yourself a good time.
numb it up a little.
Yeah. Ed's
I
nipples
like,
are bitter.
I like using Peychauds in other cocktails that normally don't call for bitters.
Oh.
Oh.
So if you want to get really funky, do like a gin martini with like a lemon twist and just a dash of Peychaud's bitters is awesome.
Wow.
All right, well, let's have a rousing happy birthday for our favorite.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
How old are we today?
32.
All right,
Right.
congratulations on that, being young and vibrant.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ed.
All right,
Miss
God.
those days.
We love you, man.
Marty, Rachel, love you guys.
Yep.
Love you too, man. Love you, man.
All right, see you soon.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
What
And that was Anders.
What
Yeah.
a trooper,
Awesome.
man.
I know.
Oh.
His birthday, he's working.
Yeah.
We were going to do
here.
it tomorrow, but he couldn't make it. He had a wedding to go to.
We appreciate him taking time because I guarantee at this time of night, he's got a pretty full bar.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah. He was slammed.
All right. So we are going to take a break. We're going to make the first cocktail, the Trinidad Sour, and we will be right back.
All right. Round one. All right, so we've made the Trinidad Sour, and we're about to taste the difference between Angostura bitters and Peychauds. And Rachel's going to read us a description of this cocktail that I've never had.
Yeah. Thanks, Ed. So the Trinidad Sour was created by bartender Giuseppe Gonzalez while he was plying his trade at the Clover Club in Brooklyn in 2009. This unique cocktail is a mixture of a full ounce and a half of Angostura bitters, lemon juice, orgeat, and rye whiskey. Gonzalez developed the concept after being inspired by Italian bartender Valentino Bolognese's competition-winning Trinidad Especial, which used lime instead of lemon and pisco instead of rye. Gonzalez's new elixir was delicious, well-balanced, and had a unique texture due to the oily Angostura bitters and rich orgeat. But it didn't catch on right away. It was only after he spent years trying to convince his fellow NYC bartenders to try it that it finally caught on, and today you can find it listed on menus worldwide. Gonzalez attributes at least some of the cocktail's success to its unorthodox nature. He says that the reason it's so popular is because nobody can imagine what it tastes like. It doesn't follow the traditional, it's a rogue cocktail.
It is.
Ooh, just like the rogue cocktail episode.
Yes.
Look it up. Let me see. It doesn't follow, which is part of the appeal. And once you have a drink with that absurd amount of bitters in it, it is difficult to forget.
Yes.
How many bitters is in this cup?
1.5 ounces.
Right, because it's quite clear which bitters is in which cup.
Yes.
Yeah, we
because
were
of the
talking
difference
about
in
that,
color, it's sort of a dark brownish Angostura one, and the Peychaud's is definitely red.
It's poopy and pinky.
So this
Gravy. Yeah, like bad gravy.
this might help them
Cranberry.
sell more bitters too if more people drink this drink.
It's diarrhea and blood in your urine.
Oh,
Go see the
That's
doctor.
what it is.
Jesus! Thank you, everybody, and good night.
Good night, everybody.
Call the doctor immediately.
All right. So the way I made this was the Trinidad Sour is made with 1 ounce of rye whiskey. I used bullet rye, 1.5 ounces of the bitters, 1 ounce of the orgeat, which is a almond nut syrup, and 3/4 ounce of lemon juice.
Is the orgeat alcoholic or just
No.
okay?
No, it's just a syrup.
So we only have 1 ounce of whiskey and ounces of non-whiskey stuff.
Angostura is 70-something% alcohol.
Oh, sugar. That's right. You said that.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Wait, well, hold on. Let me get the exact stat. Actually, it's
Yes.
89.4%.
Oh my God.
That is pretty high.
It's like
That's
Woodford.
Yeah, it's like Woodford, exactly. I mean, Bullet's only 90, so we got 90 and 90.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smells interesting. Yeah, we'll just
Smells
taste
like
it. These are,
Angostura bitters.
it does,
Sorry.
which makes sense because that's the most thing that's in
Yeah.
it.
You know, if it was warm, it would be like a holiday drink, don't
Ooh,
you
yeah,
think? Yeah.
This
yeah,
would
it's like
taste really
Mold something.
good warm. Yeah.
Yeah.
You expect to have a cinnamon stick sitting out of it.
Yeah, it tastes like cinnamon. There's so much cinnamon on this.
I would think this would settle my stomach though after a big
Oh,
meal.
yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
It could cut through it like a fatty
I
meal.
feel like it's reducing my gastritis right now. Reversing it.
It's reversing it, Ed.
It was a good episode.
Here, pass the bottle, Ed.
Good for you.
Pass the bottle on the left-hand side.
Pass the bottle on the left
side.
You got it, bud.
Pass the touchy on the left hand side. Pass the touchy on the left hand side. It's a go bun.
That might be Trinidad.
Oh, it might
Sounds
be.
like it.
It might be.
Pass the bitter to the left-hand side. You got a bun.
It's a go bun.
All right, we've just been canceled by
Did we?
the Caribbean culture.
Maybe.
Do you have any listeners over there?
Oh, I think we've had some
Never
in
mind.
Trinidad. I think we've had some.
Yeah.
Probably 6. If that.
I love 6. That
It's
means
a small
that means
island.
one person listened to 6 episodes and then was like, meh.
Yeah, it's like they haven't done Angostura bitters yet.
And you're going to get him this one.
I mean,
I like
I
it.
don't hate it. Not at all. I would drink it once in a while, especially, I think, like Rachel said, I might buy this for after Thanksgiving when you're all bloated, you know,
Oh my
like
God,
you've
yes.
carved out. And someone goes, you know what? Let me just make a Trinidad sour.
It has a lot of spiciness, like sage and marjoram and thyme and stuff that you would put in a stuffing.
Sage and margarine, thyme and bitter.
See, the back end is way too bitter, though. The bitterness lingers after you drink it.
It does.
That's what I'm
does
trying
not
to
have a
because
pleasant
the
aftertaste,
front end is
right?
great, but I just don't know if I can.
Have you drank a Trinidad sour? Now hit it.
Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. You know, I would put a little maple syrup or something in it to get rid of
Pour
that.
some maple syrup on.
Just to get rid of that back.
Yeah, like there's one ingredient missing
Yeah.
to make this perfect. But if you gave this to me 20 minutes after I ate Thanksgiving dinner, I'd be like, this is
Yeah.
just what I want.
There's no
I
sweet
can definitely see
ingredient in this.
Right.
It's rye whiskey, it's bitters, it's orgeat, which is a nut-based syrup, and lemon juice. So there's really no sweetness here.
I'm not tasting that nut. Like,
So
what is it bringing?
orgeat is usually used in like tiki drinks.
You mean the face shot? What did you say?
Face shot.
Oh, there we go.
I tried
There we go.
I'm not looking at you. I am not looking at you.
I've been phased out over here.
All right, let me bring us back. The orgeat is usually used in tiki drinks.
Yes.
So like rum-based cocktails
Yes.
and juices and pineapple and papayas and bananas. And
Maybe we'll
stuff like
taste
that.
it more with the Peychaud's version.
Yeah,
Possibly.
yeah.
So let's do that.
Because
Yeah,
we
let's do it.
agree that that's more laid back.
Right. So this is the reason, and Anders said that you might
Neon.
want to use Peychaud's over Angostura because Peychaud's is a lot more subtle.
Not my consistent nose, but my first nose was Kool-Aid. It was like a cherry
Yeah.
Kool-Aid.
No,
And then I was-
licorice.
Yeah, licorice
It's
Kool-Aid.
just like red licorice. It
Licorice
looks like
and
red
cherries.
Licorice,
Yeah.
Cherry licorice, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but not Twizzlers.
Ooh.
It's a totally different drink.
Yeah, they're two different drinks for sure.
It's like a grapefruit punch or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the bitters makes it taste like the grapefruit, less sweet, fruit, right? It's
Yeah,
kind of a
slightly
bitter
bitter.
fruit. Yeah.
It does taste like a punch.
Yeah.
It tastes like a tropical punch. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
yeah.
That's exactly what it
We
tastes
should
like.
have tasted this first, though, because I'm still tasting that.
All right,
that.
so
we have to reverse the order.
I
Going forward.
agree. Yeah. So the round 2 and 3, we'll do the Peychaud's version first.
Even though it will be much less of
Yeah.
the bitters, I totally get it. But
I like this, but you guys are right. These are two completely different drinks, and I am shocked, actually,
at how different
they are.
Yeah.
But
They're both-
there's so much of the bitters in this.
Yeah.
So the next drink that we do, it's only like 3 dashes. This was a full ounce and a half.
well, this is going to
Yeah,
sensitize
a lot.
us, though. That's good.
Yeah, that's why I did this first, because I was like, we need to get a base so we can predict later which one is which. But you know what? I like both of these drinks. I think, Marty, you like the second one better?
I'd rather have a Zambuca than this, to be honest.
Oh,
with you.
wow.
Oh, to settle the stomach, too.
But, yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
I got you.
But I actually, believe it or not, I like the first one better.
Oh, okay.
But I just didn't like the bitter back end to it that just
Okay.
lingered. It lingered. If it would go away a little quicker, I'd be okay with it.
Gotcha.
Wonder what it would taste like, Scott. He hates when I do this.
Yeah.
If we did like half and half of the bitter profile.
Wait, I'm going to mix these.
I mean, yeah, go ahead and mix them.
I'm mixing them.
because,
And now it's really poopy colored.
I mean, Peychaud's is a little bit sweeter.
Oh, it's a win.
Oh, yeah, you like it.
Wow. That's actually really
Oh, wow, this is awesome.
I like it. Yeah.
That's
I'm-
the
I'm
ticket
going
for the
for it.
Trinidad Sour needs half and half.
Oh,
and it takes the bitterness out of the back end for some unknown reason.
All right.
You can taste the lemon juice more, I think. There's a bright citrus note
Oh my
right
god,
in the
it's
middle.
such a win right now, dude.
I think the citrusy elements of the Peychaud's is cutting down on the bite of some of the clove
Oh,
and
it's
cinnamon.
so much better.
It is.
I'm
I think
so
it's
glad I did
balancing
this.
it out. Yeah.
It is.
But it was actually the right move.
Yeah, I think it's much better.
It's delicious.
Now I might drink this over my Zambuca.
Yeah, so split it or use less of the more bold Angostura, as Ed was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like this. It's really good. All right, so before we get to the round 2, the La Louisiane cocktail, I have a surprise
Oh yeah, surprise.
for Marty. No, not that surprise.
No.
There's another surprise. This is the first surprise. So Marty, about 6 months ago, asked me,
To do a DNA test to prove your brothers.
and we have the results.
Oh, my god, the ghost of Jerry Springer's just arrived.
Drum roll.
No, what we're doing is Marty said that he wanted to be on an episode that we did a Quiskey on.
Yeah, I did.
And
yes.
Oh,
so
my
now we're
God.
going to do a Quiskey about bitters.
Great, new people I can lose to.
Oh, Ed, you won the last 4 of them. Shut up.
I know, I've been on a roll.
All right, so give yourself a name. Ed usually does something about Gabe.
Wait, but he's not here, so what's
Oh, Marty's in. Rachel is in.
I'm so excited. I always want to do a Quiskey.
I know.
I love listening to him.
Sue Stalker is Ed's name. So we have Marty, Rachel, and Sue
Good.
Stalker.
She's going to distract him so we can
Right,
win.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
She's in the background today.
Good.
Sue, distract him.
I don't care.
So he can't win. And Ed's like, I don't care.
Oh my God.
All right, so this is Quiskey. If you've listened to us before, as you know, the first round, first chime in correct answer is worth 100 points. A second chime in correct answer is worth 50 points. A third chime in correct answer is worth 25 points. But if you get it wrong, you get negative 25 points.
Punitive.
And a paddle
Oh my
from
goodness.
Sue. Sue will paddle you.
Paddling.
Well, Ed will enjoy that. So
That's right. I just continually choose wrong.
I'm choosing E. There's no E. Ed. Okay. The first round, the questions will be about bitters history.
Okay.
Question number 1. Between 2009 and 2011, cocktail enthusiasts around the world were faced with a drastic restriction in the supply of Angostura bitters, causing bars and restaurants to hoard bottles and giving mixologists no choice but to use alternatives. What, according to the company, was the root cause of the shortage? Is it A, their workers went on strike, B, a hurricane destroyed their warehouse, C, their bottle manufacturer had supply issues, or D, a fungus wiped out their gentian root source? Marty.
B.
B, a hurricane destroyed the warehouse?
Yes.
That is incorrect. Sue Stalker.
D.
D, a fungus wiped out their gentian root source? That is also incorrect. Rachel, you can chime in. If you're correct, you get 25, but if you're incorrect, you get negative 25.
C?
C. That is the correct answer. Rachel gets 25 points, and she's on the board and winning.
Nice. Well, we narrowed it down for her, so that's good. Respectable.
Rachel, go ahead and buzz in on that.
Okay.
So that we're all buzzing.
Yeah, you didn't buzz in, so that didn't count.
No, it's fine. All right.
I am competitive. I might be honest.
You
but I'm
are competitive. Wow, look at you over there. All right.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Question number 2. New Orleans Sazerac coffee house owner Thomas H. Handy acquired the Peychaud's brand from Antoine Peychaud in 1873, as it was so essential to his company's Sazerac cocktail. But sometime after Handy's death, his company lost the brand. Of course, as I said in the history, Sazerac did eventually reacquire the brand. In what year did they buy back Peychaud's? Was it A, 1970, B, 1980, C, 1990, or D, 2000? Marty.
2000.
2000 is incorrect. Ed.
90.
1990 is also incorrect.
God damn it.
Rachel, again, is in the position of guessing either 1970 or 1980, but you don't have to buzz in at all if you don't want to.
I think 1980.
1980? That is incorrect. It is 1970.
Yes. We're back to 0.
And Rachel gets negative 25. We're all tied up.
Okay.
Question number 3. When looking at a bottle of Angostura, it's hard not to notice that the label sticks up around the neck of the bottle. What's the reason behind these oversized labels? Was it A, a marketing campaign to highlight the uniqueness of their product? B, a miscommunication between the bottle designer and label designer? C, to create a receptacle for spilled bitters, which keeps the bottle cleaner? D, to create more space on the tiny bottles for all their product information? Marty.
C.
C, to create a receptacle for spilled bitters. That is incorrect.
Oh, man, I suck.
Rachel.
Miscommunication.
A miscommunication between the designers. That is the correct answer.
That was my second choice.
And Rachel gets 50 points. Yes. So you're just doing pretty well. Well, then she didn't do well, and then she did. But, that's how it goes. Question number 4. When Antoine Peychaud escaped slave riots in Haiti in 1803, the island nation had actually been called Saint-Domingue by French colonists for hundreds of years, and it wasn't until the next year, 1804, that the name changed. What does Haiti mean in the language of its indigenous inhabitants? Is it A, land of true love, B, land of high mountains, C, land of many coasts, or D, land of large snails? Ed.
I got to go D on that one.
That is incorrect. Marty.
Mountains.
Land of high mountains is the correct answer.
Marty, good job.
All right.
So Marty gets 50 points. And the last question in round 1, question number 5. An establishment located on Washington Island in Lake Michigan called Nelson's Hall and Bitters Club serves full shots of Angostura bitters to patrons, a practice that's been kept alive since 1920 when it began as a means of skirting the rules of prohibition. After all, it's simply a medicine for upset stomachs, right? In which state is Nelson's Hall's Bitters located? A, Illinois, B, Indiana, C, Michigan, D, Wisconsin. Rachel.
Michigan.
Michigan is incorrect. Ed.
Illinois.
Illinois is also incorrect.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Marty, Indiana or Wisconsin?
Oh, man.
I think Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin is the correct answer.
That was going to be my other guess.
You don't have to tell me.
You got it. I just wanted you to win.
So competitive.
She loves me so much.
I know she does. That's so sweet. At the end of round 1, Marty has 75, Rachel has 50, and Ed has the goose egg.
Goose.
Bum, bum, ba-dum.
It's almost Christmas. It's almost Christmas,
He's
Ed. It's
letting
good.
us win.
Your goose will be cooked.
So in the next round, the points are doubled.
Yes.
And we will take a small break
Pressure.
and come back and taste the La Louisiane cocktail.
La Louisiane. Woo!
Round 2. So we've made the next cocktail, the La Louisiane. And Marty's going to read us what the La Louisiane is made of.
All right.
All right. I would do my best here. All right. The La Louisiane is the former house drink of a historic New Orleans restaurant of the same name, which was built in 1881. Oh, Louisiane.
Louisiane.
The cocktail is a variation of the Bouquet.
Bouquet.
So many French music under all of this.
One of my
Which is
favorite cocktails.
Which is a heady mix of rye whiskey, cognac, sweet vermouth, Benedictine, and Peychaud's bitters. But this variation intensifies the rye, skips the cognac, and calls for a few dashes of absinthe, producing a drink that is both familiar and unique. The cocktail first appeared in Famous New Orleans Drinks and How to Mix Them. It's a 1937 book by Stanley Clisby Arthur. Like many drinks of the era, it all but disappeared over the decades, but it regained a foothold after appearing in the PDT Cocktail Book by Jim Meehan, a 2011 tome that detailed recipes from the popular New York speakeasy-style bar called PDT. The La Louisiane has not reached the heights of its whiskey-laced cousins like the Sazerac or Bouquet, but it's once again being made in select bars inside and outside of New Orleans.
And apartments in Marlton.
And apartments in Marlton. That's exactly correct.
Classy.
This is 2 ounces of rye whiskey.
Ooh,
Again,
2 ounces.
Again, I used Bullet. 3/4 of an ounce of sweet vermouth. I used Cocchi.
Yes.
Storico di Torino. A half an ounce of Benedictine, a bar spoon of absinthe, and 3 dashes of the bitters each in your glasses. We did switch the order here. So in your number 1 neat glasses is the Peychaud's version, because we said in the previous 2 cocktails that the Angostura was overwhelming the Peychaud. So we're going to do the Peychaud's first. And that's it.
All right.
Let's smell and taste it. Anise.
Yeah, I don't think the blind thing is going to work.
I don't think it is either.
I know.
Yeah, look
The
at the
smell
color.
and
Yeah,
the
it's
color,
weird.
everything
Yeah.
is like
Oh,
so
that's so
clear.
much.
Yeah.
We'll have to blindfold, but all my blindfolds are at my house, so sorry.
With the handcuffs?
Right, exactly.
And
Right,
the
handcuffed, blindfolds, and I'd have to pour it in your mouth.
And the cat of nine
I'd
tails.
have to waterboard you with it.
God, I shouldn't have started.
Smells very nice.
It's the Zambuca.
Oh, yes. There's a lot of anise on this.
But it
It is
reminds
like
me
Zambuca.
just of like a Zambuca. It's got really good flavor.
Yeah.
It's a little rich. It's a little lays thick on the tongue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, oily
yeah,
mouthfeel
yeah,
kind of.
Yeah, it's
So
good.
good.
I like this.
Viscous.
It's as good as I
Viscous.
expected it to be.
Viscous.
It's viscous. Is there any lemon juice in this?
No.
I think a little squeeze of lemon.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
like my
lemon.
Zambuca with my lemon.
I don't know if
Yeah.
you guys ever had dark
Yeah.
Zambuca with lemon squeezed into it on ice and then shaken like the hell out of it.
When I
It's the
squeeze
best.
a lemon,
So
the
good.
Sambuca comes down my
Ramadi.
chin.
Oh.
Yep, Zeppelin.
Oh my God. It's like a secret code that they have.
Yeah.
We just will never know.
Those were actually 2 different songs, but it's okay.
I don't know why we did that, but it
I don't
worked.
either.
It
It
worked.
was awesome. This tastes delicious. I have a lot of fruitiness in this too, in addition to the anise. So the Peychaud's, of course, has a lot of anise in it, but there's also, remember, a bar spoon of
the wormwood.
absinthe
Yeah. Yep.
in this too.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
This is a delicious cocktail.
This is great,
I've
right?
never had the La Louisiane before.
No.
Anders made us the Vieux Carré on episode 15, his first appearance on the podcast, and it just blew us away. We love the Vieux Carré. It's a delicious
the Vieux Carré
cocktail.
is one of my top 3 drinks.
Yeah. And this is just sort of a distaff version of it.
Yeah.
But different. It's a little brighter, I think.
Yep. I do
I
like it the
a
way
lot.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's try the Angostura version.
Okay.
All right. I mean, it smells deeper. Like it's got deeper, richer.
Smells
Damn,
like
these
a
are different cocktails.
different cocktail.
Yeah,
Oh
again.
my God. How much is in here?
It's only 3 dashes.
Okay, it's good, but it is totally different.
This is delicious.
It's pretty good.
It's good, but
It's
I
just
like
totally
the,
different.
I like the lighter, fruitier, like the holiday spice. Just kind of
Yes.
Yeah.
It's deeper in that way where there's more baking spices. And this had a deeper cherry note, whereas the first one had a lighter cherry note.
Actually, this would be great with a cherry garnish.
Yes. The way that it's supposed to be made is with the Peychauds.
Oh wow!
With a cherry garnish.
Okay.
So which do we like better?
I think I actually like it with the, well, I don't know. So you guys decide.
I would say Peychaud, but
Okay.
it's really interesting with the other one, though.
Yep.
And once again, I wonder how it would taste.
Oh my god!
Oh, no. Well, we're going to mix them.
No, don't.
Oh, yeah. It kind of,
It's not terrible, but it didn't pop like the first one
they
did.
kind of wash each other out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it ruins it.
And yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Isn't it weird? Like the first one works
Yeah.
so well, this does not work.
It just
No.
it muddies
They're
what's
fighting
good
each
about
other.
both of them.
They are
Yeah.
fighting each
Yep.
other.
Yeah.
It's almost as if you should use half the amount of Ango that you want to use with Peychauds to balance them out
Oh.
because of their intensity.
Oh, why don't you
levels.
try that next time
Ooh, maybe I will.
for the third drink?
Maybe I'll do it for the Sazerac. For the one that we're going to be tasting blind.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
to make it harder,
Yeah.
because Rachel is right. I think we're going to know on sight which one is which. Because
Just
it's,
with 3 dashes.
yeah,
it's the
it's
colors.
obvious.
Yeah.
It's obvious. Okay. So now that we're done round 2 of the cocktails, we're going to do round 2 of Quiskey. Turd Ferguson is Ed.
That's me.
Yeah.
Funny name.
Marty buzzed in. Rachel buzz in. Turd Ferguson buzz in.
I'm going
All right.
to change my name next time. I'm going to think about my new name.
Okay, so this is round 2 of Bitter Quiskey. We're doing bitter foods.
Ooh.
The points have doubled. For a first chime-in correct answer, it's 200. If for a second chime-in correct answer, it's 100. And third chime-in correct answer, it's 50 points. But if you get it wrong, it's negative. Question number 1. Many foods described as bitter contain compounds called alkaloids. From an evolutionary standpoint, our ancestors' aversion to alkaloids was because they can sometimes be A,
I know this.
too salty, B, high in calories, C, nutritionally deficient, or D, poisonous. Marty.
Poisonous.
D, poisonous is the correct answer.
Knew that one.
Question number 2. Despite the fact that a bitter taste can signal poison, bitter plants and herbs were widely used in traditional medicines throughout the ancient world. Modern medicine has also identified several benefits to bitter compounds. Which of the following is not one of these benefits? Is it A, suppresses appetite, B, stimulates saliva production, C, improves circulation, or D, helps release gastric juices? Turd Ferguson.
C.
C, improved circulation is the correct answer.
Nice.
And Ed gets on the board
Nice. Finally.
with 200 points.
Crack the goose egg.
Crack the goose egg. All right. Question number 3. Produced from the seeds of the tropical Theobroma cacao tree, originally grown in Central and South America, cocoa beans have been cultivated for at least 3 millennia and made into a variety of foods, primarily, of course, chocolate. According to industry statistics, how many kilograms of chocolate is consumed in the United States annually? Is it A, 300,000 kilograms, B, 3 million kilograms, C, 300 million kilograms, or D, 3 billion kilograms? Marty.
Billion.
3 billion kilograms is the correct answer. Another 200 for Marty.
I eat about that much.
Oh, that's how we knew.
I love chocolate.
He was like, I've eaten 3 billion pounds. Okay, question number 4. Brassica oleracea a bitter-tasting plant species, more commonly known as wild mustard, is the ancestor of several other bitter-tasting subspecies whose properties have been artificially selected by humans for centuries. Which of the following is not a descendant of wild mustard? Is it A, broccoli, B, kale, C, spinach, or D, Brussels sprouts? Ed.
B.
B, kale. That is incorrect. Rachel.
Spinach.
C, spinach is the correct answer. So, the last question in round 2, question number 5. The famously bitter citrus known as the grapefruit is actually a hybrid of 2 different citrus plants and was created accidentally on the Caribbean island of Barbados when seeds of the Southeast Asian pomelo tree were planted near trees bearing the fruit of which of the following? Is it A, oranges, B, lemons, C, limes, or D, kumquats? Marty.
Oranges.
Oranges is the correct answer.
I knew that.
Looks like an orange. It's an oversized orange. Come on.
Wow.
I knew that.
And Marty gets another 200 points.
That was so easy.
It's your fantasy, right?
Yes.
Playing Quiskey and winning.
Well, wait, it's not over yet.
It's not over yet. In round 2, Marty got 600 points. Ed got 200 points. Rachel had 100 points. At the end of round 2, Marty has 675. Ed has 200. And Rachel has 150. In round 3, points are tripled.
Oh, shoot.
But there's only 3 questions.
Ooh.
The question is, which 2 does Ed get right?
So now we will take a break and make the 3rd cocktail, the improved whiskey cocktail, and we will be right back.
Round 3.
Okay, so we are back with round 3 of Whose Bitters Be Better's Whiskey Cocktail Deconstruction. But before we get to the 3rd cocktail, we have a tradition on the podcast that when people have reached their 5th numbered episode, they get something special.
That's right.
Ladies.
Oh, you guys are
Oh my God.
So Sue and Siobhan have retrieved the jackets for Rachel and Marty.
right. Both of them, of course, are jacket winners themselves.
Yes. Siobhan was the 2nd recipient. Of course, she is the mayor. And Sue, I think, was 5th.
Probably.
She's the whiskey pixie. Oh, shit. That fits really well. Both of you. Wow. We're amazing.
Better in this.
I wore the wrong sweater.
Yeah. So on the right lapel, it says Whiskey Power Couple. And on the left lapel, it says your name and then 5-time host Whiskey Tangent Podcast. Well deserved. Well deserved. I want a hug from Rachel.
You're our first jackets in a while.
No, I'll just reach over.
Who was the last jacket? I can't remember now.
Oh my gosh.
The last jacket before this was the ladies. Drea in particular.
Oh, yeah. Dre got the last
All
one.
right,
That was
do
a
not wear a
long
sweater
time ago.
underneath it.
That was over a year ago.
Right.
You know I'm wearing this everywhere.
Take your sweater off. It looks great in just a bra.
I got that winning coming up.
Okay.
That's a great idea, Ed.
It's a great idea.
I got my bra. I'm going to wear my bra.
He's got his
Man's
bra
ear.
on.
The man's ear.
The man's ear. The bro.
It's always nice to
chipmunk
have
cheek.
other jacket winners here to bring them.
Yeah, it
Thank you-
really
thank
is.
you guys.
Thanks so much.
Bringing these out.
That's another reason we wanted Anders here.
Right, because Anders was the one who introduced us to you when he sat us together during the pandemic.
Yep.
That
Right.
was our 30th anniversary.
Right.
by
It
the way.
was.
Yes.
So, guys, speech, whatever you want to say about being on the podcast for 5 times and getting a jacket.
Well, I'm so excited. I love this jacket. I've talked about it many times with my wife. No, I'm not. You thought, I don't know if they're going to have us on that many times. We're not that good. But no, I really appreciate it. And
Did you know this was number 5? I have a feeling you did.
I wasn't sure because we did some shorts and whatever. And Rachel actually mentioned that. But
We'd like to add confusion, so you're not really sure.
Yeah. But I don't know if I'm more excited about this or the Quiskey. But anyways, they're both on top of my list. So thanks so much, guys.
Rachel?
Yeah, just, hey.
She's speechless.
No. I'm never speechless. Let me make my speech.
There's like winning an Oscar.
My moment. I was not a cool girl. I was a nerd. I sat at the front of the class. I was excited to go to graduate school because then I didn't have to grow up and I was going to stay in school forever. So I feel like I have finally made it with the cool kids. Aww. And so I am very excited to have this jacket.
Cool kids drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think that
Thank you.
aside from Ed, we're all the same as you. We are your people. I think Ed was like the cool kid. He was on the football team and he was a stockbroker.
Student council president.
Student council president. Exactly. All right. So the Marty and Rachel appearances. So you were on episode 45. Does your vermouth for matter? That was our first one.
That was
episode 49, our second Japanese episode with honors the Christmas in Kyoto and Godzilla poop cookies. Episode 60, the Rogue Cocktails, which was just a year ago, also with honors. Episode 67, the Breckenridge times 4, just this past September.
Yeah.
And this one, episode 70, Whose Bitters Be Better? And of course, 3 shorts that we've done on the Pinhook Vertical Bourbon and the short that you hear next week, which Whiskey Mermal. Okay, so Ed.
Yeah.
The round 3 improved whiskey cocktail, Ed, has a description.
Yes.
From liqueur.com.
Liquor, I barely know her. Originally, the simple old-fashioned cocktail as we know it today, made with just whiskey, sugar, and bitters, was simply called the whiskey cocktail. But it was Jerry Thomas, widely considered the godfather of modern bartending, who was the first to record and categorize cocktails with his 1862 book, How to Mix Drinks. And in 1887, Thomas introduced what he called the improved whiskey cocktail, which called for the bourbon or rye to be added with Aristotle.
What?
Aristotle often said, "Speak clearly, young man."
Carry a big stick.
That was Theodore Roosevelt. Wait, what's happening?
Oh, sorry.
The Angostura.
Mixing our references.
Thomas introduced what he called the improved whiskey cocktail, which called for bourbon or rye, Angostura bitters, gum syrup, maraschino liqueur, absinthe, and a lemon twist. When drinkers found that the additional ingredients were too much for them, they started asking bartenders to make the drink the old-fashioned way, which is the original whiskey cocktail, which is now called the old-fashioned. This recipe has evolved a lot over the years, and the improving ingredients are used only in limited quantities, but they lend the drink additional complexity.
That's right.
And so once again, the improved whiskey cocktail, bourbon, simple syrup, maraschino liqueur, ginger liqueur, and bitters.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That was an interesting story about the old-fashioned.
I know. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, really was.
Make it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
That is really
I like
neat.
that.
That's why it's called
Right.
that. So this one we made with the Redemption High Rye Bourbon, 2 ounces, a 1/4 ounce of simple syrup, a bar spoon of maraschino liqueur, a bar spoon of ginger liqueur, and 3 dashes of each of the bitters. Again, we're going to taste the Peychauds first. The color is more similar than in any other drink previous, but you can still tell that
Very
the Peychauds
noticeable.
is
Yeah.
redder.
This is fantastic.
Oh, you like this one?
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, that's nice.
Very
I concur.
sweet, but
I
it's
concur.
really,
Yep.
really good.
Yeah, I knew this was going to be sweet, and I was kind of afraid that it would be too sweet, but I don't think it is.
No.
Nope.
Sweet
good,
on the
man.
front
It's
and
a good
then,
drink.
and then bitter on the back. So it really...
I bit her on the back one time. She got mad.
Oh, good. That's why you got to stay sweet on the front. Man.
That's right. I think I said the last time in the Rogue Cocktails, it's like, Ed's got a sweet start, but he's got a bitter finish. Yeah, this is really good. I really enjoyed this.
Wait, I swear to God, I tasted a little like a nut in here somewhere.
Oh, there's no orgeat.
No, I know. I
kind of
it's
get what you mean,
kinda
though.
Weird. I just
there's a bit of like,
little French alcohol.
Oh,
Right? Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Like a
and what is
Frangelica taste.
what is that nut in
Hazelnut.
Frangelica? Hazelnut.
Hazelnut. I
Yeah.
don't know why. That's what I. Yeah, that's exactly.
I
what I'm
could
tasting.
see Frangelica, like if you said like the glass was washed in Frangelica and dumped out and they made the drink in it, I'd be like, oh, I can taste that.
I was going to say walnut, but that was like, no, that's not quite it. But hazelnut makes more sense.
And
Yeah.
it's after I swallow it, and I get the air in the back of your throat a little bit. It sort of rises back there, comes up.
All right. So now what's
weird.
the interesting thing about this is this cocktail was originally made with Angostura, and we're tasting the Peychaud's version, and we love it.
Right. So I can't wait to see how.
Oh my God.
I know.
I'm so glad we switched the order.
Oh,
This is
my
the
God.
right
Yeah,
thing to
I
do.
did too.
That's the best thing we did tonight.
Yeah.
Yep. And whose idea was that?
That was yours.
That was Rachel's idea.
Yeah.
I could drink this instead of a Manhattan, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, this is how good it is.
Let's taste the other one.
Yeah, I did. It's the most similar to its Peychaud's version. This
So
is
far.
not a different cocktail. This just has kind of different elements to it.
Yes, I agree.
Different notes, but yeah, definitely the same.
This
They're
is a preference.
cousins.
Friends.
Identical cousins, identical cousins in every way. They laugh alike, they talk alike, they sometimes even walk alike.
Wow, I think this is the first time that we've had guest crickets.
Oh, how we fallen.
The crickets weren't even ready. They were in the dumpster having like Diet Pepsi and like Marlboro Reds.
Diet Pepsi.
Hey, Scott, I didn't know that the guests were going to be singing.
Yeah, I didn't know that
Yeah,
either.
we were on a break thinking it was going to
Oh,
be all right.
shit, they got jackets now. Oh, they think they're all that.
When do we get jackets? I've been on all the episodes.
All right, so what are you tasting in the Angostura version of this?
I taste the beginnings are almost the same. The finish is what's different. And it's a little bit more bitter and a little bit more stringent, but different, but not bad.
No.
I would drink both
Very
of these
good.
depending on what you hand me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of like it.
And I would shake this with ice.
Yeah.
Either have it up or just leave it on ice.
I think I like the second one a little better. I think that's the one I want.
Has more going on, more
Yeah,
body,
yeah.
more
bitter
depth
notes.
to it.
But
Everything,
yet, the Peychaud's not a washout. I'm like, I can drink
No.
that. But, I have this. I'll drink this instead.
I would
Yeah.
agree. I think I like the Angostura version of this, but the Peychaud's is awesome.
yeah, they're both really good.
Really good.
You're not going to mix them? No?
Oh,
okay.
yeah, let's do it.
We should, because like
It's a tradition.
We've done it. We've done it with the
I
others,
agree.
as we might as well.
Got a little left. I'm going to do the same thing. Yeah.
What do you think?
This isn't bad at all. I mean,
No, it's not bad at all. You could definitely make this drink with half Angostura and half Peychaud's and not lose anything.
Who knew? Couple dashes, whatever. It really changes the character of a drink.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
does.
I mean, I feel like nobody better bring up bitters around me for the next year. I'm like, wow.
Oh, well, let me tell you about
tell you
bitters.
let me tell you about bitters. Like I was like in bitters nom or something. Like, oh, hold up a minute.
We should try just 2 dashes of both the bitters.
Yeah.
Oh, in a cup together?
And just, without anything. Just, I'm
Oh.
curious. Mixing
Oh, all right.
them a
That's
little.
interesting.
Interesting.
Because we're adding them to drinks right now.
We are. All right, so maybe in the final round, before we have the Sazerac, we'll taste them together and then totally confuse our palates.
Yeah,
That'll be
good.
great.
Perfect. Yeah.
There's another drink.
Yes, there's one more drink. But before we get to that drink, we have round 3 Quiskey!
Oh, there's only so many characters I could type in for my name.
No, still nobody has joined. What are you doing? What are you people
I'm
doing?
think
trying to
of our
put my
names right now.
thing.
Oh, all right.
Oh, well, I'll just go with that then.
Okay. Smoking jacket.
I was going to say jacketeer, but it wouldn't let me type any more in.
Rachel is best jacket. Ed is impatient Scott.
That was good.
I hate you so much right now. I don't actually. Okay, so this is round 3
Tough one.
where the points are tripled. 300 for a first chime in correct answer, 150 for a second chime in correct answer, 75 for a third chime in correct answer. But of course, if you get it wrong, you get negative 75. The category is bitter drinks, and these are alcoholic drinks.
Okay.
By the way, question number 1. The sweet, then bitter cocktail made from Campari, sweet vermouth, and rye whiskey was named the Boulevardier after a French term for a wealthy socialite that was popular in Paris around the turn of the 20th century. The recipe appeared in famed bartender Harry McElhone's 1927 book Barflies and Cocktails and simultaneously in the premiere issue of what sophisticated international magazine? Was it A, the Boulevardier, B, Cosmopolitan, C, Gentleman's Quarterly, or D, The New Yorker? Ed.
Gentleman's Quarterly.
That is incorrect.
God damn it.
Marty.
The New Yorker.
That is also incorrect.
Oh, shit.
Rachel.
Cosmopolitan.
That is also incorrect.
I didn't think I was going to be that
It
one.
is the Boulevardier.
Oh my
Wow, what a bunch of bullshit that is.
That is total
So
bullshit.
unfortunately, Rachel gets negative 75. Remember, there were only 3 questions in round 3.
And we fucked that one up, so now...
I'm screwed.
That's right. So question number 2. The beguiling, bitter, and anise-forward spirit with a bad reputation known as absinthe got its name from the species of wormwood plant that is its primary ingredient, Artemisia absinthium, which in turn was derived from the ancient Greek word absinthian. What do some linguists believe the word absinthian used to mean? Is it A, unacceptable, B, uncomfortable, C, undrinkable, or D, unlikable? Ed,
See.
undrinkable is the correct answer.
Oh,
Yes.
this is what happens.
Guess who's back? Back again.
That's it.
Ed is back. Tell a friend.
It's over.
Ed gets 300 points. All right, the last question in round 3. Another undrinkable spirit made from wormwood is called Jepson's Malort, which we featured on a short a few Halloweens ago, and I still have some if anyone's game to try it.
Oh my God, that shit still lives?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's bitter as fuck. Is most closely associated with what Midwestern American city, where it was first produced in 1920 and where it has since become a rite of passage for visiting tourists? Is it A, Minneapolis, B, Milwaukee, C, Detroit, or D, Chicago? Rachel.
Chicago.
Correct.
Chicago is the correct answer.
I was going to say. That's right. There's only 3 questions. I'm good.
And Rachel comes storming back. So in round 3, Ed got 300 points, Rachel got 225, and Marty didn't get anything. So at the end of round 3,
Coming for you.
Ed's
Still
got
less.
500, Rachel has 375, but Marty is still leading with 675
Nice.
going into the final round.
Got it, babe.
But we have another cocktail coming in the final round. That is the Sazerac.
question now, Scott. Let's do it now.
No, we were going to do the Sazerac first.
Do the final I demanded.
And we're going to take a break, make the Sazerac, and we will be right back.
Bonus round. All right, we're back for the final drink,
Yeah.
and the final piece of Quiskey will be at the end.
Yes.
And Scott, what's the last drink?
The last drink is the Sazerac. We made this, of course, before, back in episode 30, but the ingredients that I made with this with is 2 ounces of rye, 3 dashes of the bitters, each the Angostura and the Peychauds, turbinado sugar.
Did you muddle?
I stirred.
Okay.
Rather than muddled, I gave each glass an absinthe rinse and expressed a lemon peel on top of it afterwards. So I didn't do this blind completely. I know which one is which, but you guys do not know which is Peychaud's and which is Angostura.
Color's pretty similar.
So, but I have them in the same glasses for the 4 of us. So the sort of crystalline glasses, that's one. We'll taste that one first. And then the High West tumblers, we'll taste that one second.
Okay.
I'll tell you, by smell, I can't tell which one's which.
Dress is so nice.
Rachel,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
at
Yeah.
least from visual inspection, these look pretty similar.
Well, I have a suspicion, but I'm going to hold
Yeah, I
it
see a
at bay.
little-
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
It smells great.
The
though.
aroma is amazing.
Yeah.
That
Ooh.
lemon.
Oh, yeah, the lemon really comes through,
I
right?
see all that sugar on the bottom too.
Yeah, there's-
I gotta stir that up.
There's some sugar that didn't dissolve.
It's a delicious drink.
Oh, wow, what a good flavor that is.
Man,
I think I want a little bit more absinthe in this. This doesn't have as much absinthe as that I would like because I just gave it a rinse, but it's still really good.
both are way too sweet. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're very
This-
sweet compared to everything else.
This
we've
drink,
had.
of course, is traditionally made with Peychaud's.
Are we tasting both or just one?
Yeah, no, taste both.
Okay.
Compare and contrast. Try to figure out which one is which.
Yeah, I think I know.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. Yeah. Shouldn't say that.
It's
but-
because one has a distinctive. They're really
Yeah.
similar, 80% through, and then the finish is different.
Based on color, are you surprised?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
The visual's the closest to the night, but I really didn't look at that till after I tasted them, to be honest. They're both really good drinks.
Yeah.
I think one tastes more traditional to a Sazerac to me, but I think I like two a little bit more because it's a little bit more complex, but I'll see what you all say.
Now, remember, what I did with this one is I did half the amount of Angostura versus the Peychaud.
Right, and I think that's why they're so close.
Yes.
It did
Good
take,
call.
yeah, that was good because it did take me a couple sips to try to ascertain what I feel like I'm feeling.
There really isn't a lot of difference between the two.
No.
This is really hard, and I know which one is which.
And I'm going to guess, might be completely wrong. This one tastes so much sweeter.
Okay.
So I'm thinking this is not the Angostura because
Yeah.
the bitterness.
Okay. So the
that's
first one
my
you're
guess.
thinking is Peychaud's, and the
That's
second
my
one you're
guess.
thinking is
Yeah.
Angostura.
They
I
taste
agree with
very
Marty.
similar, but this is just so sweet. And the Angostura seems to be so much bitter, it would knock that out.
Yeah. And Rachel?
No comment.
No, you're like shaking your
You're
head.
required to comment. It's the whole
purpose of the podcast.
They
This
can't
is your
see you.
fault, Rachel.
Do I have to give this jacket back? Do I have to give this back?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I
Do you think the opposite?
I do.
Okay.
I hate to
All right,
disagree
fine.
with my better half.
What do you think
but
that
yeah.
one is?
You think the first one that we tasted is Angostura,
I
and
feel
you
like
think
that's
the
richer and
second
heavier,
is
and that's
Peychaud.
So you
Angostura.
think that's Angostura? Okay.
And I think the second one, I could be wrong, but now remembering that
Mm-hmm.
Scott said I
yeah,
put
but
half the
it's,
amount.
it's not a right or wrong. This is a great example of the differences in these things and how
Right.
they're used in a drink. I
And
mean,
honestly, how close?
And if he didn't have the Angostura, I don't think it would be this.
Yeah, the High West tastes lighter and fruitier to me. So that's why I think that's the Peychaud.
Interesting.
But I could be wrong.
I'm going, one is the Crystal Glass is Peychaud's, and the High West is the Angostura. But because you cut the Angostura, it's very good.
Right. All right. So the High West one is the Angostura, and the Crystalline Glass is the Peychaud's.
Oh, do I get 300 points for that?
No.
Oh.
But I mean, with this cocktail, we're kind of split on which one is what. Like, we kind of both like them. If you half the Angostura, then you kind of end up with the same drink.
Yeah.
Slightly
And-
different notes, but
and the weird part is
Peychaud's.
Yeah,
I've heard it
at
pronounced 5 different ways tonight.
Oh, I know. It's hard to pronounce.
I don't.
All by Ed.
I do not taste the licorice.
I
kind of.
know.
It's weird.
Isn't that
Right.
interesting?
It makes me think, Scott, if you hadn't halved it, Peychaud's would have won the day for this drink, but you brought it down to where it was more competitive.
Right.
Oh, I do taste it, but it's very light in this one, and it's more sweetness, and maybe the citrus or the what is the rind in there? Is that a
It's a lemon.
yeah?
Lemon
the
peel.
lemon, I think, kind of cut that a little. Maybe that's what it was. But
Yeah. I know.
I still think the Peychaud one is too sweet.
So I made the Sazerac in a pretty traditional way. Rinsed the glass with the absinthe. I used actual sugar, bitters, and then poured the rye in on top of that, and then expressed the lemon peel and dropped it in. So if you got either of these cocktails at a bar, you'd be like, yeah, that's a Sazerac.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
both of
100%.
them. Yep.
100%. They're not that different.
I would not be like, oh, this isn't a Sazerac. This is Angostura bitters. But maybe I would now. Like, is this Angostura bitters? Have you ever made a Sazerac before? What are you, caveman?
Oh my God.
Didn't.
All right. So,
Whiskey.
right. We're going to find out who wins Quiskey. All right. So, final round of Quiskey. Marty has 675. Ed has 500. Rachel has 375. Please text me the points that you want to bet, Jeopardy style, for the final round question about coffee. The most popular bitter drink
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah, there you go.
Everyone's in striking distance.
I just did.
Yeah. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I
not
got
gonna
you.
help.
So, final round. Coffee. According to the corporate statistics website Statista, in 2022, which country produced over 7.8 billion pounds of coffee beans? A full 1/3 of the world's supply. Is it A, Brazil, B, Colombia, C, Indonesia, or D, Vietnam?
Oh, God.
Please text me your answer. Marty has chosen.
I've chosen incorrectly, sir.
Rachel has also chosen.
How to do it?
Incorrectly.
You know how they say in like Trivial Pursuit, just go with your first answer or
right,
first
that's
thought.
what I
So that's what
did,
I
yeah.
did.
And Ed is also in.
Ooh.
All right. Here we go.
Fuck Vietnam. If it's Vietnam, I'll fucking kill everybody.
So angry. It's Angostura.
Yeah, Angry-stura bitters. So bitter, but he's an Angry-stura bitter.
I can't say that. Vietnamese coffee is freaking delicious. But
I've never had it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rachel
good.
had the least points, so she will go first. Of her 375, Rachel bet 325.
Ooh.
And she guessed A, Brazil. Brazil is the correct answer. So she finishes with 700 points. The next person is Ed. And Ed had 500. He bet 400. And he guessed Indonesia, which as you know now is the incorrect answer. Ed ends with 100 points. So now it is down to Marty. Marty had 675. He bet 500. And his answer was
Proud of you, Marty.
Had so much.
B, Colombia. So the winner is Rachel.
All right.
With 700 points, Marty comes in second with 175, and Ed is third at 100. Congratulations.
Good job, Rachel. When Ed says, when I buy a bourbon for Scott, we both win. Well, when Rachel wins, we both win. Power couple, baby.
Power couple.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, Marty's like, have fun sleeping in the guest room tonight.
Yeah.
It's almost as great as winning this jacket.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, this has been an amazing
It's
episode.
an eye-opening episode.
Yeah. So let's just go around real quick and I guess try to determine which bitters be better. Ed.
I mean, the Angostura has a longer history and it has more complexity. What we've learned is if it's too much for your drink, cut the dosage down and it can still win. Kind of like when you have the difference between an 80 proof whiskey and a 120 proof whiskey. I can
that's a good analogy.
I can put it on
Yeah.
a globe. I can put some drops of water and I can take it down to 110, 100, 90. Meanwhile, the Peychaud is what it is. It's not going to get any stronger. The Angostura, you can give it strong, pull it back a bit, and you still have elements of the complexity that Peychaud doesn't have. Angostura.
Yeah. Rachel?
I keep thinking about parallels with the vermouth tasting, especially what you need to realize what is going into your cocktail. Everyone always thinks about the whiskey, the bourbon, what's in there. And I am not sure I can call it, but I'm also reminiscent of what Anders had said about with Peychauds. It really lets the whiskey shine through. So depending on what you want to do, if you want a cocktail that complements and brings everything together, definitely Angostura. If you want something that's going to let certain elements shine through, then I think it's going to be Peychaud. So I'm a little bit back and forth.
Yeah. Marty?
God, this is a tough one. Because no, it is, because there's a lot going through my brain right now. Like, I'm not a big bitters fan in a lot of stuff. And I like the anise, the licorice kind of flavor. I do. But I thought the complexity of the Angostura is much better. I think you can use this in more drinks. And I think the other one's just limited. But again, we've shown both of them work well in different ways. And the amount that you use, both have their place.
Yeah, I think you're all right, honestly. But in the end, when you look at it objectively, the Angostura is super spiced. Like it is aggressive.
Heavy.
When you use that, you need to know
Right.
how to use it.
right.
The Peychaud is really mild.
Forgiving,
It's
yeah.
very forgiving. Exactly.
Yep.
What was interesting to me was tasting the cocktails with the opposite bitters of what it was actually intended to taste like.
Oh, yeah.
And in the Sazerac at the end, when I halved the amount of the Angostura,
Yeah.
they kind of balanced out. There's some different elements, but I think ultimately that I like the Angostura better because it's deeper. There's more flavor there. There's more herbaceousness, cinnamon. There's more clove. A lot more stuff in there that will balance out whatever other elements you're adding in your cocktail.
Yeah.
That's a great summation of everything. My question is, if you don't have any hair, do the headphones start to hurt after a while, Marty? Shade.
No.
Not?
No.
All right, just wondering.
Wait, I have something else more relevant to the conversation.
I was just curious about
Let
that.
me, and seriously, like this is,
Okay.
After you're saying all this, guess what we did in the very beginning? We tasted the bitters by themselves.
Yeah.
Yep,
Right.
yep, yep,
and
yep.
to me, it's like there was such a difference.
Yeah.
Why would we ever expect a cocktail to be comparable?
Yeah.
So if you get a bitters, Angostura, or anyone, it doesn't matter what you buy. Taste it first and think about it.
But what's crazy is like cocktail recipes online just say bitters.
yeah.
And
Crazy.
And then if you used Angostura or you used Peychaud, 3 out of 4 drinks are
Yep.
different, completely different.
Yep.
Scott, when you suggested this, I'm like,
Eh.
we'll do it, but like, it's not like vermouth.
So
a
distinctive,
whole
right.
part. Bitters is just like, it's a little dash. Like, it can't make an impact. It made a huge impact.
Really did.
I felt
I
the
was
same way,
so
Rachel.
wrong.
I was
Oh,
like,
good. Thank
Scott
you.
was so pumped up. I'm like, all right. I mean, we
Right.
should investigate bitters. So I'm like, I was down for it, but I wasn't excited. I'm like, aren't they all going to taste basically the same? We're going to look like dicks. It's like, oh yeah, bitter A is the same as bitter 2. And like,
No.
wow, so different.
All right, Scott,
100%.
you are so smart.
Well, I mean, I was right with you because maybe everything will just taste the same and it'll be like, well, it doesn't really matter. But we have determined that it does matter which bitters you're going with, but it's what flavor you want to go with your cocktail and what bitters you should use in that cocktail.
Well,
Maybe it's not what be better with
Right.
each cock.
Be better with cock. Wow.
Okay, cut that.
No, I
All right,
don't
so
know.
on that note, Ed, take us out.
Oh my
I
God.
mean, when I think back to how insignificant I treated bitters in my mind, and I've been drinking so long and so heavily, the fact that no one else has done an episode on bitters, that should mean that this episode that we're doing should go viral coast to coast, pole to pole, and that we should be the hottest whiskey podcast in the history of podcasts. But that being said, in the moment, I think that this has been a very eye-opening episode for me to be a part of. Thanks, Scott, for coming up with it. And of course, we want to thank Marty and Rachel for joining us and getting their jackets. We're very excited.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Take a look at your bitters, everybody. Your bitters matter also. So for the Whiskey Tangent Podcast, I'm Ed.
I'm Scott.
I'm Rachel.
I'm Marty.
Cheers, everybody.
Later.